Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to this slightly abridged Rotary Club of Gainesville Tuesday meeting at the Cade Museum. Please silence your cell phones, and if you're watching on YouTube, please be sure to register your participation by sending an email to info@rotarygainesville.org. Up first, for the pledge, Brendan Shortley.
So no song today, you've been spared. But I do want to celebrate, now that we're in October, with a few, since Halloween's on our radar, hopefully, a few semi-Halloween jokes. Does anybody know what ghosts serve for dessert? I don't know either, because I just run and ice cream. And what do you call a zombie who writes music? A decomposer. All right, with that little thud, let's do a little pledge, shall we? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And now we're going to start an invocation, hopefully with Kevin Thorpe zooming in. Hopefully he hears me right now.
I do. May we pray. Lord, we are beyond grateful for this day. Thank you for every physical and emotional storm you have allowed us to survive. We pray specifically for our intended guest speaker, that you would cover him wherever he may be, cover his safety, his health, and his well-being. Continue to bless what we do and what we say. It is for your sake and for your glory we pray. Amen.
If we have any visiting Rotarians or guests, we ask that you remain standing. Introduce yourselves to our club.
I'd like to introduce you to my guest today is Stefan Winsler. He is my son and future father of my future grandson.
So appropriate for Greg Young to bring me the mic, former president of the Matheson History Museum. I'm the current outgoing, and to introduce our new executive director, Sal Camella, who started out in Gainesville. He has a master's in historic preservation and served in that capacity in both Gainesville and Fernandina Beach. And he's back to run the museum, and we couldn't be more proud.
Thank you. Welcome guests. Any other? Oh, more guests.
I got a VIP here. So my guest is Basil Benjamin, and he is a Florida Gator alumni, and he was running, what do you call those guys in the back that knocked down all the passes? He was a Florida Gator in the backfield 83 to 86. Made sure they didn't catch any passes. But his real claim to fame is he's a soccer coach. And those of you who remember Miguel, the Spaniard, he coached Miguel at GHS. But even more famous, he coached Kenji Stashevich at Oak Hall. So he's been a soccer coach for a long time. He's coaching soccer right now at Gainesville High, and he also has a soccer club called Legacy Soccer. And he said he'd fill in for Patrick if you needed him.
Welcome. Welcome, babe.
Thank you all for joining us today. We have quite a few October birthdays. If you're here, please bring your dollar to our president, Ryan Thompson. Rogers Bartley, David Chadwick, Paul Clayton, Tom Cousins, Rusty Daughtry, Guillermo Diaz, Pete Enwall, Michelle Farkas, Bob Franks, Dink Henderson, Jay Hudo, Brian Kramer, Asher Lonzo, Carlos, I can't say your last name, I'm sorry. I need to meet more of our members. Matt Marino, Marty Meisner, Toby Monaco, Brandon Morris, Dana Nemini, David Nicholson, John Pastori, Kathy Pierce, Lee Purvis, David Rembert, Brett Saunders, and Cheryl Scott. Please join me in wishing these members a happy birthday. And now we have a few announcements from Richard Allen and Scott Winsler.
I thought we were going to sing happy birthday, so I wasn't prepared. Oh, everybody want to do that? All right, here we go. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Rotarians. Happy birthday to you. Woo! All right. Well, with Patrick Young having, I think that's car troubles that kept him from being here today. So I think we're going to stretch out our announcements as much as possible. So with that, I was born in, what I want to do is kind of both take you back to last week when Jacob spoke, and also just call your attention to this. The Economist is an amazing magazine, comes out weekly, and it had a great article that came out just a couple of weeks ago about Sudan and about how Sudan is the world's problem. And it was a feature in this. They went through a number of articles explaining how this spills over to every country, and especially every developed country in the world, and how this is really a meaningful problem. And I'm thinking, as I'm reading this article, I'm going, most people who are reading The Economist are probably going, okay, so what can I do? I mean, it's like, countries can do things. Our club, we're different. Because Jacob is in our club, we can actually do something. Each of us can actually do something to help with this problem in Sudan. And all of you who were here last week know, and everybody who's ever heard Jacob speak about it, you know what it's like. What they're doing at his healthcare clinic in South Sudan is really amazing. Maternal health, women's health, children's health. They are making a huge difference because all these refugees are spilling across the border, and this is one of the few places that they can actually get care. It's really important. And I think, as all you know from last week, on your tables you'll see the little advertisement for the Wine to Water event that the Downtown Rotary Club is doing. As Jacob described last week, and as Jim Skiles said last week, all the proceeds from this are going to go to the global grant that they are doing for the project in South Sudan, which is Jacob's project. So all the proceeds are going to that. When they go in through a global grant, they get a 2.5 times match. So every dollar that they raise, every dollar that we contribute individually winds up getting 2.5 match between the district and Rotary International. So it's really, this is going to be a remarkable thing. It's going to change an awful lot of lives. You'll see there are actually 2 flyers on your table. My printer was running out of ink. But this one has a QR code on it. If you get a chance to click that QR code or to go to the website that's on this doesn't mean that you have to give money right now. As the global grant gets put together, this would give you an opportunity to contribute to that global grant. As they start to put the money together, it's going to probably be over the next 6 months. So it's basically just a pledge on that. And the other flyer is actually for the event, which is, I think, the 8th. It's on the flyers there for you to be able to go to the actual event and participate there. So that's pitch number 1, announcement number 1. Did I stretch that out long enough? Announcement number 2 actually will be much quicker, but you've got on your tables as well for the auction coming up in December. Just number 1, a reminder about the auction. It's going to be December 3rd, the first Tuesday meeting in December. But we need auction items, and actually this one. So this is the flyer. If you want to pick up what's on your table, if you've got anybody that would like to donate anything to the auction, or pick them up from me, I've got extras up here. If there's anything you can think of that that you think could be an auction item, please, pick up one of these forms, let us know, and we'll get that into the auction for you. Yes. Yes, thank you for that. Yeah, we are going to do we would love to hear that. Do you have time to do that today? Or do you want to do it at a different meeting? All right. Well, why don't you come up right after me? Let me wrap up, and then we'll hear from them on the Zulu auction. Every year we auction off the Zulu auction, and this is a perfect day for you guys to get up and tell the story about it. It's an amazing experience. Everybody that's been on that says it's really, really incredible. Susan and I are planning on going on it ourselves as soon as her hip is over the recovery period. And at the same time, we're going to try to visit the South Sudan project. It's a long way away, though, from South Africa. So the third announcement I'm going to make is that Gordon, you'll notice we didn't have piano music going today. Gordon is in North Florida Regional Hospital. He fell a couple of times a few days ago, and I think when he got there, they tested. I think he's wound up with COVID, so possibly the falls were related to the COVID. I think he's recovering okay, but he's really lonely, and so if anybody knows Gordon well enough that you would be willing to go visit him, if you would, either email or call Susan, my wife Susan, or me, or Dana Nemini. And the three of us will kind of coordinate on being sure that you know what time somebody else is going, so you don't have three people all piled up at the same time trying to visit. But it'd be really nice to have him be able to have some other visitors. He'd really appreciate that. That concludes my announcements. Should we go to the next announcement and then do the Zulu? Who's after me? Haha. All right. Woo! All right.
Geez, Richard, you're a hard act to follow. So I'm here to announce the Ethics in Business Award. Last week, Philip announced that the award nomination process is now open. This is an incredibly important thing that our club does. We have garnered outstanding individuals from around the community for the last 10, 12 years for this award. It gives us outreach into the community. It's an opportunity for us to connect with our people in our network, talk to them about this award, see what ideas that people might have for worthy recipients of this award. Basically, the gist of the Ethics in Business Award is that we look for outstanding people who do outstanding, who have outstanding ethical business practices, either an individual or a company. Philip has put the nomination form on all the tables. You can pick up a nomination form at DACTV and download it. But I really encourage you all to talk about this award with people in your family, with people in your networks, about who would be a worthy recipient of the 2025 Ethics in Business Award. On page 2 of the application, you can see the past award recipients. This has been going on since 2011. Each year, we seem to come up with yet another outstanding company or individual to award this to. This is different from the Service Above Self Award that's given out in December. This is based on ethics. And ethics, we base our decisions on the 4-way test. Are the business practices of this individual or business, are they true? Are they fair? Do they build goodwill and better friendships? And do they promote beneficial actions for all concerned. So please do give this consideration. That's it. Thank you. I look forward to the Zulu recap.
All right, where do you want the microphone? While you were coaching us a minute ago. Hey, I'm Karen Sandelin, and I have been on the Zulu trip. Oh my gosh, you've got to go. It's so wonderful. We had encounters with cheetahs. There was a family of cheetahs, brothers. Cheetahs hunt together, and if they don't have partners. And we had an encounter that I was talking to our table about the other day with a very long-memoried, angry elephant who didn't like our driver because he had an attitude too. And so guess who won? She did. Yeah, she put a big old scratch in his hood of his Jeep because he wouldn't go right. She threw a limb at us that looked like a little thing when she picked it up. When it hit the vehicle, maybe I shouldn't tell you about it. When it hit the vehicle, it was about this big and about this long. She just tossed it at us, and she was telling us to go away, So we did. We went away very slowly, and but when we watched a cheetah chase a gazelle into the lake, the gazelle got stuck. The crocodile came and ate it. Yeah, it was cool. And the hippopotamus came along and chased it away. And then there was the cheetah sitting up there going like, doggone it, that looked really good to eat. And so she didn't remember that her baby hippo was in the bushes right behind the cheetah. And he panicked. And, a baby hippo still makes a very large noise when he crashes through the bushes. And he's like pounding through the bushes, just running for mama. And the cheetah's in the way. So the cheetah jumps up and goes, what the hey? And is running off. And we are taking pictures of this and loving it. The giraffes, I never realized that giraffes are early warning signs because they're so tall, they can see over the trees and they see everything that's going on. So they get really excited and they make the birds fly around, and the birds, warn all the other animals, and they move around. It is absolutely fascinating. The food is great. You get buffets mornings and evenings. The guides are wonderful. They're from all over the world. We had an Aussie, and he was a typical Aussie. He was funny, and he just loved to do it. This is what he did every winter. He would come and be a guide, and they're just. Everything is in the compound and you're safe. It's a long drive from the airport, but we had a wonderful driver, and even the drive out to it was wonderful. And then we stayed a couple of extra weeks and saw the falls and some of the other places to see. And I would really recommend it. It is just a lifetime experience. Yes. Oh, it was beautiful. It had a thatched roof, and there are bunches of them that circle the pool. Ooh, it's so nice to, you don't think you're going to go to Africa and lay around the pool, but boy, when it gets hot, you want to lay around and swim in the pool. And so all the thatched roofs are beautiful. They're beautiful inside too, and there is nothing second class about it. It's really wonderful. Thank you, Richard, for offering it. I would love to go do it again. Oh, yeah. Our winter is their summer. Go. Yeah, it's wonderful in the wintertime.
Thank you all for those updates, announcements, and I know what I'm going after for this auction at Christmas. Up next, we have Margaret Combs with a craft talk.
When you get to be where I am in life and you look over your career, you can virtually call it a lesson in sociology. Because right after college, in the early 60s, I was a woman looking for a job. In the early 60s, women could be nurses, they could be secretaries, they could be teachers, but I was looking for a job in the business world. It wasn't that easy to find. I had to put my husband through several graduate degrees, so I had to work at whatever I could find to kind of support us. And once he got his doctorate, we went to Columbus, Ohio. Now, by this time, I've learned a lot about a lot of things, including marketing and organizational development. And so I applied for a job doing what I had been doing while he was in grad school. And of course, it was a big city and it was a bigger organization, and the man that applied got the job. Okay, I'm used to that. So I figured at that point there wasn't a whole lot that I could do at what I had done if I didn't do it myself. And I found a couple of other ladies who were in a similar position. So I said, well, why don't we, because we have children, and I had decided that sitting home waiting for the children to come home from school after working for all those years was just not working for me. The walls do move in after a while. So we decided to start a little company, work until the children came home from school if we could get some marketing jobs, which we did. And we started in my upstairs bedroom. And a lot of the people who sold radio and TV and things like that used to call us four broads in a bedroom. And we were. And we took the doors off of the sliding doors off of the walk-in closet, and that was the art department. And we started a marketing firm. Probably the strangest story about it, one of the jobs I'd had early on, I was director of marketing and public relations for the State Fair of West Virginia, which is a big state fair for the size of the state. Well, the State Fair of Ohio was looking for a new marketing firm. I go, aha, that's something I know something about. So we put together a presentation, and we made the presentation, and the next day, the Columbus Dispatch headlines was Women's Firm Wins State Fair Award. And we're going, we got it. By golly, we got it. And we were, needless to say, rather excited. And we were. There were four broads in a bedroom. So we started to work, and we talked to several of the people, and then they called us and said, hold up. We said, okay. Well, it seems that the governor's son-in-law had a marketing firm in Cleveland, and he had promised them the account. Okay, that was one we didn't do. But we began doing things, and the company grew from 4 broads in a bedroom to 135 people 12 years later, and we had clients in Europe and in South America and all over the United States. We no longer were in the bedroom. But it was an amazing experience. We did marketing. We had a division that did nothing but the new and growing cable television industry. And we did a lot of different things for the cable industry and for big companies like Warner Communications and so forth, working day and night with 135 people. And after about 14 years, my doctor said to me, "You keep this up, you're not going to make 15." Because working around the clock was not unusual. I loved it. Didn't hurt me. But anyhow, so with my group, I gave each division to their division head, and I decided I was going to go find a job. Well, before we'd even made all of the changes, I got a call from California. And somebody had found out, and they said, "We want you out here. We've just won major franchises in the Los Angeles area, and we need you out here to help us develop it." One of the things I realized I had learned along the way was organizational development, because we did so much more than just marketing and PR. So I went off to California, where I spent 4 years developing cable systems in the Los Angeles and Scottsdale, Arizona arena. It was great, great fun. And one day I got a call, and it was one of the senior executives in the industry, and he said, "We've heard you won't leave California." And I said, "Well, I really like it out here." It was a different day in California than today. And I said, "But my father's just passed, and I probably should be farther east, nearer my mother." And he said, "Well, have I got a job for you?" And I moved on and became the president of the industry development, management, and marketing association, and moved to Washington. So I was running the Cable Industries Development Association, having a wonderful time, again, working very hard. And in that time period, in the first year of that, I ran into an old friend who'd been my brother's friend growing up, and his name was John Combs. And the next thing I knew, I was getting married. I had been divorced for quite a long time. So we lived in Williamsburg, Virginia, which he went to Norfolk every day, and I went to Washington for the week. So it was a fun way to live, but it was really hard on you. And the drive from Washington to Williamsburg on Friday afternoon is like sitting in a parking lot for a week. So after about 4 years, I had the opportunity then to move to Branson, Missouri, of all places. And they called me and said, "We're going to start a cable network from here, and we'd like you to come and be president." And I'm going, "Oh, that sounds like fun." And that was in the early days of the development of Branson. So we moved to Branson, and we had a wonderful time developing a network called Americana. The only problem was that after the second year, and we had wonderful investors and lots of money, and it was a network that was all original programming and all positive Americana programming, music, history, all kinds of things. And the United States Congress decided that the cable industry was growing too quickly, and literally a bill was passed that the cable industry could add no more music channels or regular channels to their lineups. So we're sitting there, primarily music channel, but and we can't go forward. I had one of our investors and one of the board members was the CEO of Walmart, an extraordinary man. And I asked David to come meet with the FCC with me. And so he flew in, and I got the info, wheels up, wheels down, all of that stuff from a very busy executive. And we went to the FCC in Washington and talked to them about the issues and what we needed to have happen and so forth. And when we got down on the street in Washington, and I was getting him a cab to take him to the airport, he said, "Margaret, that was the biggest waste of time of my entire life." And I thought, my golly, he nailed it, because it really was. And there were things being done that really had nothing to do with what consumers really wanted. Anyhow, so we finally had to close up shop because we could no longer be added to any cable systems, and we were just about at 2 million. So my husband and I decided we were going home, and we moved back to White Sulphur Springs, West Virginia, where we both grew up. And by this time, though many of you know John, John was a major heart patient. So we moved back to West Virginia. And after 11 years there, where I consulted all over the country, I was traveling a good deal. The doctor said to him, "Get thee to warm weather and next to a major medical center." Well, we had a daughter who'd been here for a number of years, so we had no decision to make. And we came to Gainesville. Within 6 weeks, we were in Gainesville. And the doctors had told me maybe he'd live for 5 years, and thank God in Gainesville, he lived for 15. During that time, though, I was doing some small business consulting here, and a couple of gentlemen had a patent, an interesting patent, and they had gone to one of the banks in town, and a gentleman who's a member of this club but not here today said, "Well, you know, we can't just give you money. You've got to have plans. You've got to have this and that." He said, "But there's a lady in town that knows how to do that." And I got a phone call. And so I met with them, and their product was fascinating, and I knew it was a hit. And today I would bet that half the homes in the United States have the expandable, contractable hose, which was their patent, and which we developed here as a part of Ragnar technology. And you'll still see the ads on television from licenses that the company has given. And that was a matter of developing that company and making it happen. And it was a lot of fun. So quickly, let me finish by saying my craft changed and evolved. But most of all, it was fun. I had a career that I enjoyed. And if you enjoy what you do, you'll never work a day in your life. Thank you.
Margaret, thank you so much for sharing your craft talk with us. Those are words to live by, and our club is lucky to have you. If you would now, please join me in welcoming up our president, Ryan Thompson.
Well, good afternoon. Thank you, Maggie. That was wonderful. I appreciate your craft talk today. So we're trying to organize to help our friends over in the Gulf, Cedar Key and Swanee in particular. The Gainesville area clubs are trying to do something collectively. I spoke with Helen Gilstrom before the meeting today. She's opening up her garage for dropping off supplies on Saturday between 9 to 4. They're looking for cleaning supplies, shovels, bug spray, you name it, those kind of items to help the city of Swanee. They don't have a grocery store anymore. It's gone. So they really do need help. We're going to send out an email to this effect tomorrow, but I know that Helen Gilstrom's home is open from 9 to 4 on Saturday to be able to drop off supplies, and we'll run those over. Monetary donations, we are working with the area governor in that area, in their district, to see if they have something organized for monetary donations as well as our own district. We will find a good home for those. So if you would like to make a contribution, it will go to either Suwannee or Cedar Key to help with their recovery efforts. And then lastly, the city of Cedar Key Fire Rescue has put out a notice that they're looking for volunteers. They're organizing it. They say show up and they'll direct you to a house or a business that you'll be able to help. We're trying to see if we can do something collectively. So hopefully in the next day we'll get something out to that effect. That is all I have. Reminder for next week, Laura Nguyen with the Galen College of Nursing will be our speaker. The quote of the week, probably would have picked a different quote if I knew today was going to play out the way it did. Something more about resilience, but not too far off. A difficult time can be more readily endured if we retain the conviction that our existence holds a purpose, a cause to pursue, a person to love, a goal to achieve. John C. Maxwell. The Rotary Reading Safari drawing is 011011. With that, today's meeting's adjourned. Thank you.